Hi Masters, welcome to PSM New Zealand channel. Today our host Charu is came to New Zealand PSM channel, and Charu divides her time between her doctoral research at the Department of Physiology, Delhi University, and the chief editor at MB Publishing House, a platform dedicated to spread holistic living. Her areas of interest include, but are not limited to, Indian philosophy, metaphysics, and Indian physiology and Sanskrit text studies. She is a certified and practicing physiological and counselor of recognized by the American Physiological Practitioner Association and representative of the Indian Physiology Congress Medical. She has been meditating since she was 12 years old, and she has been associated with the PSM since the last 6 years. Her life changed upon meeting Patriji, and she is now dedicated to spreading the science of spiritual to the entire world. Thank you, Charu. Please welcome to PSM New Zealand channel.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure. Hello everyone. It's really nice to be here amongst all of you. Today, I wanted to speak a little bit about awakening your inner child, answering your inner child's call, and thereby discovering your purpose. Now, this session holds equally true for people, for both people who might have already who might be on their purpose and who might want to make it more clearer, who want to make it narrower, who want to shoot ahead on that path, or people who are discovering their purpose. This holds equally true for people who are working and as well as people who are, if you are a school student and you're looking for what to do in your life, and if you're trying to plan your future, and if you're trying to see which direction might be best for you. So this session also holds true for that. Now, before we start this session, the question which comes in everyone's mind is, what is the purpose that we are going to talk about here? Is it just our job, just our career, just our work, or is a purpose something more in life? And to that, I will say we'll have to backtrack, we'll have to go back a little, and then we'll understand what is the difference between our purpose and what we think of as our purpose in the general sense of the term, when we think about our careers, when we think about our jobs, when we think about what we are doing with our life. So when we were kids, what did we spend most of our time doing? If you look back, if you take a second back, if you take a step back, and if you see when you were a child, what did you spend most of your time doing? Now, a lot of you might answer, I spent a lot of time playing. And that's a very valid answer. That's what I did as well. But if you look into the deeper layers of that play, every child is different. Every child has their own tendency, their own gravitation towards some sort of play or the other. And therein, in the secret of your play, lay the hidden purpose that was trying to give you a call when you were a child. And depending upon whether you are able to understand that and answer that calling or not, will determine whether you feel satisfied in life later on or not, or whether what you are doing in life later on as an adult makes the inner child, the inner you, happy or not. What do I mean by that? From the long list of things that were just said about me in my most gracious introduction, I mean, beyond all the words, beyond everything, why am I doing what I am doing? What is life? Life is time, my friends. Life is time. We are here on earth for a very limited time in human bodies, in each incarnation. And so in each incarnation, we have very limited time on earth. And that very limited time in this human body, we call a life. So if we truly wish to unravel our life, we have to unravel how we use our time, how we manage our time, what we give our time towards. So the things I choose to give my time towards, like it was just mentioned that, I am getting my doctorate and I am the chief editor at a publishing house. And I also, like here, I'm teaching and spreading meditation. So, how is it that I can connect what I'm doing with my inner child? Why is it that I do what I do? And why does it give me satisfaction? So when I go back a little, like I said, we take a step back and I go back to my childhood, the answer lies there and it's so evident in front of my eyes. My friends, I was just like you when I was a couple years younger, when I had not come into meditation. Um, like it was said, I had already been in meditation since I was 12 years old. This is one of the best things our school did, one of the best gifts they gave us, that we used to meditate for 10 hours in the morning and 10 hours in the afternoon daily as part of our school curriculum. It was part of our curriculum. I was introduced to Anapanasati when I was 12 years old. So I used to do it, but I used to do it on and off. And finally, when I encountered PSSM, when I entered spirituality full heartedly, then I understood the gravitas of what I was doing. I understood the importance and the need of meditation. And that's why slowly, I started to get deeper and deeper into these concepts. And I started to understand what was the real meaning behind the things that were happening in my life. So, like I said, when I go back to my childhood, when I look back at my play, I was very sorted when I was a child. There were only two things I wanted to do with my life. If somebody asked me when I was a child what I wanted to be in the future, and when I say a child, I mean maybe like 5 or 7 years of age. I was quite young. So if somebody asked me, what do you want to do when you grow up to be a big woman? I would say I only had two things in life. So I would say that I either wanted to be an astronaut and I wanted to go to space and I wanted to talk to aliens. That was my first wish. And my second wish was that I loved books. I loved being surrounded by books. I loved being surrounded by words. I love being surrounded by stories. So, my second desire, my second wish for myself was that I wanted to work in a library. But not just any library. I wanted to be a librarian at the biggest library of the world. Why? Just so I could be surrounded by books 24/7. So if I look at that and if I take it as just a child's play, a child's imagination, and I leave it be, I might probably have still been searching for what it is that gives me meaning in life. But I chose to answer my childhood calling, to answer my inner child's call. And I realized that the two things which give me immense satisfaction in life are, like I said, you know, um, here obviously when we are children, our view about things is very limited. So when as a child I wanted to be an astronaut and I wanted to go to space and I wanted to talk to aliens, it showed my um, deep desire to have a connection with the cosmos, with my true self. And it is only when I entered meditation that I realized this. My second wish, which was to be a librarian at the biggest library, was just so I could be surrounded by books, so that I could engage with books, I could encounter new books, new information, new authors, and I could spread that to people. Again, when I entered meditation, I understood how deep the concept of Swadhyay runs, especially in PSSM. Patriji pays so much importance on reading books. And that's when I realized what my childhood self was trying to tell me, what direction I was trying to be pushed towards. So if one has to listen to any person in life, I believe it should be one's inner child, because one's inner child, which is yet untainted, when we are 5 years old, when we are 6, 7 years old, we are yet untainted by society, by expectations of society. So deep down somewhere, we know exactly what we want to do. And if we can go and sort those feelings out, if we can capture that feeling in its moment, if we can awaken that calling, then it will lead us to what we wish to spend our time doing. Like I said, my friends, your purpose is much more than your job. Your purpose is much more than your career. Today, if under Patriji's guidance, we started MB Publishing House and we are using that as a tool to spread Swadhyay, to spread spiritual science to the world, it is only because a girl child who was 5 years old, somewhere in a village near Dehradun, decided that she wanted to spend the rest of her life amongst books. If today I am here talking to you, if I am going from town to town, if I'm going from Zoom meeting to Zoom meeting, and I'm spreading meditation, it is only because when I was a child, I used to love playing the teacher. So I would gather all my cousins, I would gather all my friends, and I would be the teacher and I would teach them. If I knew ABCD, I would teach them ABCD. If I knew the numbers, I would teach them numbers. Whatever I knew, I would gather everyone and I would teach them whatever I knew. I had a passion for teaching. I had a passion for spreading whatever I knew, for helping others look at the world from a different perspective. I had a passion for that. Why is it that as a child, I always gravitated more towards playing teacher, and not, say, playing doctor or playing house? This is not to say that any of these games are better or worse than the other. This is not to say that any of these purposes are better or worse than the other, but it just shows that my soul was inclined towards a particular path, which I kept gravitating towards again and again and again. And when I listened to that, when I actively listened to that, and it took me a couple of years to get there. It wasn't, it wasn't that I just one day I woke up and I decided, oh yeah, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. I had my own set of challenges. I had my own set of setbacks. I had my own set of learnings. But ultimately, today, in retrospect, when I look back, I realize what doing the thing that gives me satisfaction is listening to what my 5-year-old self expected out of my older self. And that is the person, it's said that the only two people we should try to impress are our 5-year-old self and our 85-year-old self. So take a moment, take a step back, and think back to when you were 5 years old. Do you think the person you are today, if your 5-year-old self met you, they would be enamored by you? Not just proud of you, not just happy with you, not just glad to meet you, that they would be enamored by the person you are. If yes, then that means you are on the right track. That means you are on the right path. And if no, if you feel like there can be some changes in your life, try and see where it is that you let your 5-year-old self down. And in there will lie the answer to where you can improve your life and how. Friends, the very reason that we get into, this question of we wish to find our purpose, it means that we are somewhere in a muddle of unclarity. We seek clarity only when we are in midst of unclarity. If we are already in clarity, we will not be seeking clarity. If I'm already in air, I will not be seeking air. But if I'm underwater, I will be seeking air at that time because I'm underwater. I cannot breathe at that time. So I will be seeking air desperately. But if I am breathing right now in air, I'm not seeking air. I don't even realize sometimes that the air is passing through my body and it's passing through my nose. Sometimes it becomes so involuntary. So it's the same thing with clarity, my friends. If somewhere from deep within that question nags you, haunts you, it doesn't let you sleep at night, then the reason is that we are somewhere underwater right now, metaphorically, and we are desperately seeking for air. We are desperately seeking for that clarity. We wish to be in a state where we don't even have to think about the air coming into our lungs and expelling out. So, like I said, how do we even get underwater? How do we even get into all of that unclarity? So there are three aspects to this, my friend, to this question. So the first question is that what is the trap? First, if we are saying that there is a trap of unclarity, what exactly is this trap? We have to understand that. The second step is how do we get trapped? Once we have understood there is a trap, we have to understand how do we get trapped. And then the third step is to understand how to get out of the trap. These are the three steps to this journey that we will take today. So the first step that we will talk about is what is the trap? Because we have heard so many things, very vague things. Even when initially we start coming into spirituality, we see so many things going on around us that things get confusing for us, things get muddling for us. We are unable to sort out what is good for me. There is so much information out there, so much information. And here is a concept I would like to introduce you, my friends, which you might have already heard of. It's called the paradox of choice. The paradox of choice. Now, if you think about it from a single point of view, from a unidirectional point of view, it seems pretty obvious. Having more choices leads to a better life, right? Right, absolutely. Yeah, having more choice. If you just put mango juice in front of me and ask me to drink it, I don't have a choice. I have to drink mango juice. But if you put mango, pineapple, orange, blackcurrant, guava, and then you ask me to pick a juice, my life becomes easier. I can choose whatever juice I want at that moment and I can drink it, right? So choice makes our life easier. Absolutely. There are no two ways about it. But what is the paradox of choice? Now, the paradox of choice states that once there are too many choices to choose from, the choices actually hinder your process of making a choice. They actually hinder your ability to make an informed choice. So choices do make our life easier, but this is an economic term actually. So too many choices do not make our life easier. In fact, when we have too many choices, we are more likely to make an ill-informed choice, which can be influenced by others very easily, which is what we are seeing, big companies, big advertising is doing, pushing us towards a certain market, pushing us towards a certain product, because we become gullible, because there is so much choice that we then need somebody's help to decipher which is the best choice for me. And therein the choice anymore is not about what product am I choosing for me. It's about who is helping me make that choice. So today, if we think about spirituality as well, my friends, there are so many concepts, there are so many topics, there are so many masters, there are so many books, there are so many organizations, there are so many techniques, there are etc., etc., etc. The story goes on and on and on. And like I said, just because I like guava juice or I like apple juice does not mean that mango juice is bad in itself. It just means that I don't like it. It's a personal preference. So similarly, when we enter into spirituality, we have so many, we have a plethora of themes and topics and uh, things to choose from, that we actually get paralyzed because of the paradox of choice. We are unable to make a definite choice for us. And like I said, therein lies not the choice between the product or the theme or the thing in itself, but the choice you make when you decide who you are going to let influence you to make that choice. So herein lies the importance of a guru, my friend, the importance of a mentor, the importance of a guide. Because if you choose the right guide, the right mentor, the right guru for you, then that person will be able to guide you towards the right choice for you. Right? So, for example, if I have diabetes and I have a lot of juices in front of me, a lot of fruit juices in front of me, and I decide to hire a nutritionist to help me out. And the nutritionist guides me and tells me, listen, you have diabetes. It's better if you have jamun juice instead of mango juice, because that's better for you. That may not taste as nice, that may not be the popular choice. That may not be what's out in the market for everybody, but for you, that's the perfect choice. And therein lies the importance of a guru. So here in PSSM, we have Patriji guiding us, who has tasted everything. If you've taken a close look at PSSM, our principles, our values, even the masters who are guiding us, we take a little bit from everywhere. We understand that good things can come from anywhere. Good knowledge can come from anywhere. Good guidance can come from anywhere. And so we accept all the good things that are there out there in the world, which leaves us with a lot of choice, with a lot of possibilities. And therein, Patriji has given us the sure shot means to things, the sure shot technique, which will fast forward you in your spiritual journey, Anapanasati. The sure shot technique, which will help you reach enlightenment quicker, Swadhyay. The sure shot, social technique. Swadhyay is more of an internal, personal technique. The sure shot social technique, Sajjan Sangatya, meeting like-minded people. So he has distilled everything and he has given us the purest of the pure goods. He has brought out the things for us in such a pure form that he is literally serving us with clarity. Now it is up to us to decide whether we want to intake that, we want to partake that or not. So like I said, that is the trap. That is the trap. The paradox of choice is the trap. Even when it comes to our purpose, the paradox of choice is a trap. When we enter spirituality, we see so many things going on. Somebody is building pyramids, somebody is working with crystals, somebody is physically going to places and teaching meditation, somebody is teaching meditation to kids, somebody is teaching meditation to senior citizens, somebody is working with organic farming. So people are doing so many things, even when it comes to spirituality. So even after getting spirituality, we get confused about what is our purpose. So like I said, my friends, that if you truly wish to discover your purpose, we will have to go back to our childhood self and we will have to see that at our core, what are our strengths? What are those strengths which we already knew of when we were 4, 5, 6 years old? And we can add the skills that we have learned over time in our life to that core strength, to that core skill, and become the best version of ourselves in the present. So that is the trap. The paradox of choice is the trap. And how do we get trapped? Now how do we get trapped? We get trapped because we are in Maya, because we are greedy at the end of the day. We are greedy. We want everything. We want to sample a little bit of everything. If you go to a restaurant and they offer a sampling menu, a tasting menu for the same price as one single dish, more often than not, we would be gravitating towards the sampling menu, towards the tasting menu, because of course, that's human behavior. The paradox of choice. We cannot let go of choice. We cannot let go of the idea that having more choice means more freedom for us. So that's how we get trapped, my friends. That Maya, that greed, that there is a spiritual greed as well. Greed just not has to be taken in a negative term here, in a negative sense. Greed can be a spiritual greed also. To be a part of all the groups that are doing all the things all the time. So to be a part of every single WhatsApp group that's there, to be a part of every single Zoom meeting that is happening, to be a part of every single thing that is happening. And in the end, what happens is our time, our energy, our motivation, everything gets divided. And we become so scattered at the end of the day that we feel like we are not doing enough. We feel like we are not spending our energies in a wise manner, in a time efficient manner. And therein we get confused about why spirituality is not working for us. about why meditation is not working for us. But if we take a step back and we realize that we are in the trap right now, we have a fear of missing out. FOMO, we have a fear of missing out, and we are in that trap. And that's when we realize that our energy is being divided into many different things at the same time. And see, friends, we can either go wide or we can go deep. We can't do both at the same time. We can either go wide or we can either go deep. So you can go wide, and there's nothing wrong in that. You can go wide. You can have, you can do a lot of things at one time. You can do 20,000 things at one time. But if that works for you, knowing that you won't be able to go deep, knowing that you'll only stay on top, you'll be floating, but you'll be able to cover a wider area. If that works for you, then that works for you. Own it and go ahead and do it. But if you wish to go deep, then you'll have to let go of the idea of going wide. And you'll have to have pinpointed focus. And that's how you will go deeper and deeper to that one pinpoint. So the paradox of choice, again, here as well, we feel that being able to go both deep and wide will give me so many choices. I'll have the entire ocean to myself. I'll be right in the middle of the entire ocean of spirituality. But because of that, all we end up doing is just swimming on the spot. We just end up swimming on the spot. We don't end up going any deeper. We don't end up going, even wider, because we get stuck. So how do we get unstuck from here? That was the third aspect that we were going to talk about. How to get out of this trap, how to get unstuck. And to get unstuck, like I said, we have to go back. We have to go back and we have to ask our inner child what it actually wants. Just because our 5-year-old self existed in the past does not mean that we cannot communicate with our 5-year-old self. If the past, present, and future, everything is happening right now. If now is the only moment that exists, then that means that the past, we also have access to the past in the present. And if we have access to the past in the present, then we can very easily communicate with our 5-year-old self, with our 6-year-old self, with our 7-year-old self. And we can ask ourselves as a child, what is it that you like to do? When we ask children the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? That's a wrong question to ask children. That question is wrong in itself. We should be asking children, what do you like to do right now? What do you enjoy doing? What do you enjoy spending your time in? And whatever it is that children enjoy doing and they enjoy spending their time in, that is what we should encourage them to pursue. And slowly, when they get confidence with that, then they will themselves go ahead. They will themselves come up and they will ask for more things. They will ask for guidance with more things. So we can go back, take a step back, and we can ask ourselves as a child, what is it that you like to do when you were 5 years old? What is it that gave you joy? What is it that if there were no concern of money, you would spend all your life doing? And therein lies the answer. How you interpret that answer shows your maturity as an adult now. So of course, if as a child I wanted to be an astronaut and I wanted to go to space and I wanted to talk to aliens, that hasn't come true right now. That hasn't come true literally right now. But I am more in touch with the cosmos when I sit down and meditate than I maybe would have been had I actually gone to space. So the question boils down to, what did you like to do when you were a child? And how will you take that and you develop yourself as an adult right now? based on that foundation. And therein lies the key to your purpose, my friends. Therein lies the key to what you wish to be spending your time doing. And one tool that I recommend everyone for this is journaling. When we just sit down and think, it's very easy to let thoughts slip by, to let thoughts pass by. And it's very difficult to mark the intricacies of our thought, to mark those pinpoint instances where the answer might be, where the code might be. But if we write our feelings down, if we pen them down, if we put them down on paper, we have something to come back to, we have something to review, we have something to help us understand what is it that we are actually thinking. Because when we use words to, when we think, we might not be using words, because thoughts come in a lot of the stimulus comes in a lot of ways. It can be thought, it can be pictures, it can be sounds, everything's mixed together. But when we write, we use words, and words are the window to your mind. So the kind of words that you use when you pen it down on paper will show what kind of thoughts are going on in your mind, what kind of thoughts you are associating with your inner child. And I do not say that the answer will come to you quickly, that it will come to you in a day or two, or maybe in a week, a month. I don't know. Depends on person to person, depends on how in touch with your inner child you already are. If you've wandered far from your inner child, it can probably take you a lot of time to come back and to figure out what actually gave you joy as a child. But if you are in touch with your inner child, if you are in touch with that inner part of you that is still pure, that is still living in cosmic consciousness, then it will be very easy for you to figure this out. So I request you all to kindly maintain a journal, kindly maintain a diary, at least for a week, if not more, and write down. When I was 5 years old, I liked to, and just write at least 1 page a day. What did you like to do when you were a child? What did you not like to do when you were a child? And therein, as you keep writing, suddenly, my friends, you'll come across your purpose. Your soul will guide you towards that. Your inner child will guide you towards that. So let your own inner child be the guide. Let your own soul be the guide. Let your guru help you once you figure out what your purpose is. Once your inner child takes you there, once your inner child guides you, you figure out what your purpose is. Then you take your guru, your mentor, your guide, and then you give that purpose fuel and you take it forward. So this is, a little bit about our purpose, inner child, and how they both are connected. So I hope listening to this talk of mine gave you some insight as to how to discover your purpose. If you are new on this path, if you are a seasoned veteran on this path, it might might have given you light on how to gain more clarity on your purpose. Or if you're already on your path and you're already doing everything well, if you are on track, if you're working with your purpose, it might have given you a stamp of approval, of validation, that yes, since your 5-year-old self would be happy with what you're doing right now, that means you are working towards your purpose in life. So with that, my friends, we will sit for 15 minutes in meditation, and we will connect a little bit with our inner child. So I request you all to kindly cross your legs. If you are sitting on a chair, please interlock your fingers. Close your eyes. Remove your spectacles if you're wearing them. Close your eyes and observe rest as a 5-year-old. For all gods and friends, children are the purest divine entities. Keep observing your breath. If any thought arises, come back to the breath. Keep observing your breath. Any thought comes, please take it back to the breath. Back to the comfort and safety of the world home for a 5-year-old. in that life? What learning would your soul like to have in this life? What is it that your 5-year-old self was trying to tell you? Therein lies the key to your purpose in life. Keep taking normal, natural, soft, easy, tender breaths. We will slowly rub our hands together and put them on our eyes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. You can slowly open your eyes and come out of meditation, my friends, and give yourself a big round of applause for this meditation and for this session. And thank you so much for hearing me out patiently. I would just like to remind you that when we were doing the meditation and I asked you to go back to your 5-year-old self, whatever images flashed in front of your mind, whatever the first images were, whatever the first memories were, whatever the first instances were, those are the things you need to ponder about now. That's your key. Thank you so much, my friends. See you again next time.
Thank you, Charu. Thank you so much sharing your experience and how to connect again back to the inner child. It's very nice. And some of the moments again, remembering like, oh, what I was doing when I was a child. It's like scrolling down the pictures, some moments as well.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
thank you. Thank you.